Hello, and welcome to the weekly card reading. I am again using the oil blend balance because it is Libra season. We do have a Libra eclipse on Wednesday, well, depending where in the world you live. So it's going to be a pretty intense week, most likely, and the thing Libra is always seeking is balance, and it enters our equinox season. When the sun enters Libra, it brings us into one of our equinox points, autumn or spring, depending where you live. And so it's really an important time for us to strive for balance, but I've even thrown in a bit of a pendulum swing in the crystal to the side, but I don't want to show it to you right now because it's right next to the card. To show that we aren't probably feeling balanced. It's that almost like recognizing the far out pendulum swing in order to flow back through to the other side and try to find maybe a smaller swing, because we'll always swing a bit in and out of balance. But how big is your pendulum swing? And sometimes we have to get so far out of alignment. That's how we recognize what is out of alignment. That feels very important for us this week with this Libra eclipse. It's a solar eclipse at the new moon, which really does tell us a lot, and a south node eclipse at that, does tell us that there is something that we need to eclipse out of our life. I've also brought in a little citrus twist because I feel like we still need to maintain our optimism, our hope, and our zest for life, even though there might be some big shadows we have to face, which is usually kind of something that we experience anyway at an eclipse, and especially a solar eclipse or one at the new moon. So I want you to pick a card between 1 and 4. We also have a bonus dragon card for in alignment with our eclipse this week. And I want to point out one more thing aside from the eclipse, which is the paramount energy of the week. We also, I think it's on Friday, we have Mars moving into his shadow. Mars only retrogrades every 2 years. And so he takes quite a long time with this process, much longer, for example, than a Mercury retrograde would take. So although the retrograde itself only starts, now I can't remember if it's somewhere in December, I believe, we are experiencing the shadow from the end of this week. And so there's going to be a lot to do with how we do things that we're going to start to notice. And as this coincides with this eclipse, I feel like it's really extra potent. And I want to mention one more thing, which I won't get too far into. Watch my forecast on this new moon eclipse if you want to get more info, but it's also the eclipse is conjunct Black Moon Lilith. That really forces us to face some of our shadow traits and have the courage to go there. And really, shadows aren't that bad unless we refuse to face them. If we run away from them, they loom, they're scary, we don't know how to bring light into the dark. But if we turn around and look, we'll always find a solution. So very much that's what I want you to remember this week. Have you picked a card? Remember, this is a group reading, a collective reading, not an individual reading, but my link's below if you want something more personal. So here you can see this pendulum swing of this crystal and oil blend that I have there. And these are our cards, mostly upside down beside the last card, which I quite love because it just feels like we almost like end the reading with that youthful enthusiasm that the Page of Cups, who has been a frequent flyer in our readings of late, but he brings that in at the end. We also have 2 Major Arcana cards, also frequent flyers of late, and I'm pretty sure we've had the 9 of Swords fairly recently as well. So I just want to point out that if you look at the trajectory of these upside down cards, they're very focused on the past. Especially the first 2, they're looking back in the direction of the past. This one is almost in the form of the Hanged Man when it's upside down, which is a big nod to surrender, which is a big, big need during an eclipse season, and certainly with the theme of what we're experiencing for this particular one. So remembering that Libra's big focus is relationships, one-on-one dynamics. So there might be a very big squeeze to look at what's dysfunctional in your one-on-one relationships and what needs to go, whether it's a whole relationship or whether it's one aspect of a relationship or whether it's the way you communicate. Libra is an air sign, so communication is key as well. Whether it's how you communicate in an air sign remains to be seen. For each of us, this is going to look different. So you have to be patient and vigilant and observant as to what that feels like in your life. And again, watch where you're uncomfortable. So it feels very strongly to me that at the moment, the places that used to be a quote unquote comfort zone are suddenly no longer feeling comfortable. And this is overwhelming. So this is saying I'm feeling paranoid, I'm feeling anxious, I don't know, I can't see. It often actually speaks about nightmares itself. And you can see a lot of shadow, a lot of dark ravens, but look there, there's that ghostly light coming in. So she doesn't have the perspective of that at this point. She is struggling to recognize that there is a solution, that there is a way out of this. And again, it's like letting that shadow overwhelm you. And there's a lot of overwhelm in this card. There's a lot of grief. There's a lot of fear. And letting that overwhelm you doesn't allow you to take your hands away from your face. Look around, look up, look in every direction, get a new perspective, look for the solution, look for the light that is cracking through the darkness, or find a candle and light it yourself. Find your internal light, which is very much the Hermit card. So this is a card that says we're starting the week freaking out, or it doesn't have to be starting the week. If you chose this card, you're freaking out, you're feeling the overwhelm, you're not sure which direction to take. But it certainly indicates for us that we tend to all be, generally speaking, obviously as a collective reading, in a space of, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to make this better. I don't know how to fix this. It doesn't have to be a relationship, but it very well might be. It can be any kind of relationship to that matter, including, for example, the relationship with yourself or the relationship with your business or your job, or very likely it can be a romantic partner. Very likely it can be a business partner. Very likely it can be a close friend, a one-on-one type of relationship, okay? So in order to figure out what to do, we probably want a bit of momentum, remembering that Mars is all about movement, and this is a card of great speedy movement, but upside down, not so much. It's like, why can't I get moving? Why can't I find the solution? Why can't I get some momentum or trajectory in terms of something? And again, it's because I'm stuck. Look at the direction he's running into, the previous card. He's running into the overwhelm, into the nightmare. It's like, instead of running into the nightmare of memories past, wake up. Wake up. And then we can turn this card around, and then we can find that momentum. And as we have had for a very long time in our readings, in the energy on Earth right now, there's a lot of hurry up and wait. So maybe this is a point where, we start to feel the weight. Remember that we are going to have that Mars shadow beginning this week. That doesn't mean that we slow down specifically until Mars retrogrades, but it does mean there's going to be this little wobble of, maybe I've been running past the thing I needed to look at, because that's what this card can also be. Maybe the reason he's struggling to move forward is because he needs to open his eyes. He needs to look at that shadow. He needs to face and reflect on something in his own life that is causing him this discomfort, this stuckness. And he can't just get on his chariot and race on by and pretend everything's fine, because eventually that stuff catches up with us. So this could be either that you're struggling to move, or that you're moving too fast to avoid dealing with what's going on here, which is big feelings, big overwhelm, big fear, big paranoia. And this needs to be dealt with. We need to open our eyes there. And then, of course, the Fool card is the first card of the Major Arcana, and it is the beginning of the Fool's journey, which develops into the Hero's journey. And upright, there's a trust fall backwards. Upside down, it more has that Hanged Man feeling, but either way, there is a need to surrender to the process. So there might be upside down, we might be experiencing a naivety, a childish belief that we've got it all together, we've got all the answers, we don't need to do any more journeying, so to speak. We are, and think about that teenage sort of time in life where you think you know everything, and then you have the parents and grandparents of said teenager, bearing in mind you have an internal aspect of all of these things yourself, kind of wanting to give the wisdom that comes with experience not even necessarily age, but age gives us the time to have had many experiences, but the wisdom that comes from actually experientially going on a million fool's journeys, messing up a million times, running away from our fears and our shadows more times than we can count, turning to face them more times than we can count. And that experience the teenager doesn't yet have and cannot be forced, because it's one of those things that can only be journeyed through. And in Upside Down, for this card, this teenager part of your energy is kind of saying, I don't need to do this journey. I've got it all together, and not listening to the wisdom that comes with age. But what I do love here is that the Page of Cups is kind of the counterbalance. Oh, perfect. Perfect example word-wise for a Libra season. He's the counterpoint to the upside down fool, because he's also youthful. He's also exuberant. He's also an idealist. And idealists can be naive. He's also this young teenage kind of energy, and he believes that pigs can fly, and he believes in love at first sight, and he believes in happily ever after. He's romantic and idealistic and hopeful, and really he's just a lovely guy, but he also hasn't yet had his heart squashed as many times as maybe the King of Cups will have experienced. He also hasn't had enough life experience to become jaded. So this is a point of balance between, how do I keep this hopeful, romantic, idealist energy in order to imagine a new type of world, a new type of relationship dynamic, and all the beautiful things that you want to imagine, because if we can't imagine them, we can't achieve them. And here we are at the precipice, this point in history or herstory, where we're trying to change the way we are in the world. We all are doing it, whether we're conscious of it or not. The more intentional we are, the more conscious we are, the more powerful it is. But here we sit with this confusion and this conflict of, how do I keep that innocent, sort of youthful, enthusiastic, idealistic dreamer within me and not go too far in the other direction of being completely naive, unwilling to learn, unwilling to face some of the dark stuff in order to bring it to light, so that the foundations upon which we build this new world are true. Truth is key here. It cannot be about just glossing over, painting over the darkness and wishing it weren't there. We can't do that. So this is really important, because if we come right back to the beginning, there are things that we need to face. We're resisting them, or maybe we're not even resisting. Maybe it's just such a big dark shadow where we're stuck in the midst of it and we don't know how to do it. It's overwhelming. And remember, this is also where you reach out. You reach out for guidance. You reach out to your friends. You reach out to your family. You reach out to your therapists. You reach out to your card readers, your astrologers, whoever it is for you. This is when you reach out. Don't let that darkness suck you in. Suckness. Okay, and here's our dragon card for this portal, which I absolutely love. Archangel Gabriel's dragon brings purification, self-discipline, will speed ascension, and bring joy. You can carry Archangel Gabriel's diamond. Okay, so first of all, Gabriel is a communication archangel, which everybody knows. He's a messenger. And he is here in Libra season, the season of communication within relationships. The diamond, which holds the fractal of the 7 rays of the rainbow, the 7 frequencies in your aura, for having drawn this card, to help you to get all those perspectives, to find the balance between red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet, and let them all become white light, which will shine beautiful, purifying white light into the darkest shadows. So this is really, really powerful for us right now. And I think it's really necessary. The one thing that I did want to say is, it says self-discipline will speed your ascension. I want to say about ascension doesn't mean you're getting up and out of your body. It actually means you need to get even deeper into your body, because your body is the vessel through which your soul is experiencing this life. And if you think ascending is getting out of your body, then you're missing the memo. And this is really hard for those of us, myself included, who have to work hard to stay in our bodies.
but it's very, very important, because the more we can stay in our bodies, be anchored in our bodies, it's almost like your body is the radio and the ascension is tuning into a higher frequency. So you need to be in the body so that you can have that subtle tuning into the next frequency up. That doesn't mean out of the body. That means through the body. The body is the instrument that we can hear, that we can experience it. And also, the more that we do this message become the truth. As I said just now, truth is so important. Become the truthful messenger. Become the guide, the white light that shines a light for other people who are stuck in the shadows. The more we can actually create a momentum where we have obviously realized that we're either racing past the problem or we're stuck. The more we do this, we can create the light to support other people to begin to whatever this version of stuckness here is, to begin to shift. Purely by being in this pure white light, this diamond light energy of Archangel Gabriel's dragon. I know this has gotten a little longer than usual, but it feels like a big week, so I am sending you so much love. Trust fall rather than having to be hung up in a tree. Sending you lots of love. Don't lose hope. Don't lose your imagination and your romantic soul. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and follow.